देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all, thou art all, thou assumest all forms, thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. There will be now the opening song, a very famous song in the annals of our order. This was one of the first songs, if not the first, that Swami Vivekananda, the then Narendranath, sang to Sri Ramakrishna. Oh my mind, let us go back to our own abode. They will sing it in Bengali. Many times we have that singing of that song in English here, but you will now hear it in Bengali.
मन चल निज निकेतने मन चल निज निकेतने संसार विदेशे विदेशीर बेशे भ्रम केन अकारणे मन चल निज निकेतने मन चल निज निकेतने विषय पंचक और भूतगान सब तार पार के होनायापन विषय पंचक और भूतगान सब तार पार के होनायापन पर प्रेमे केन হয়ে অচেতন ভুলেছ আপন জনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে সত্য পথে মন করো আরোহণ প্রেমের আলোয় জানে চলয়ন খান সঙ্গেতে সম্বল রাখো পূর্ণ ধান গোপনে অতি যতনে সত্য পথে মন করো আরোহণ প্রেমের আলোয় জানে চলয়ন খান সঙ্গেতে সম্মান রাখো পূর্ণ ধান গোপনে অতি যতনে লোভ মোহ আদি পথে দোষগান পথিকের করে সর্বসমক্ষণ লোভ মোহ আদি পথে দোষগান পথিকের করে সর্বসমক্ষণ পরময় যতনে রাখো রে প্রহরে সমদম দুই জনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে সাধু সঙ্গ নামে আছে পন্থ ধাম শ্রান্ত হলে তথা করিবে বিশ্রাম পথ ভ্রান্ত হলে শুধাইবে পথ সে পন্থ নিবাসে জানে সাধু সঙ্গ নামে আছে পন্থ ধাম শ্রান্ত হলে তথা করিবে বিশ্রাম পথ ভ্রান্ত হলে শুধাইবে পথ সে পন্থ নিবাসে জানে যদি দেখো পথে ভৈরী আকার প্রাণপণে দিয়া দোহাই রাজার যদি দেখো পথে ভৈরী আকার প্রাণপণে দিয়া দোহাই রাজার সেই পথে রাজার প্রবল প্রতাপ সমন্বয়ে যার শাসনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে সংসার বিদেশে বিদেশীর বেশে ভ্রম কেন অকারণে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে মন চল নিজ নিকেতনে
Thank you. The singer, her name Aishwari, and the one who was playing tabla was her younger brother, a child prodigy in tabla. So, thank you very much. How did you like Abhishek, his tabla? Because he is a very good tabla player himself. Today's topic is very much connected with the content of the song. I'll come to that a little later, but to begin, let us do some meditation. ब्रह्म में तुमाम मधु में तुमाम ब्रह्ममेव मधु में तुमाम ब्रह्ममेधया मधुमेधया ब्रह्ममेव मधुमेधया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ मे Brahman, the existence absolute, be experienced by us. May the bliss absolute be experienced by us. May Brahman, the existence absolute, which is also the bliss absolute, be experienced by us. May we experience Brahman, the existence absolute, by purification of our heart. May we experience the bliss absolute by purification of our heart. May we experience Brahman, which is also the peace absolute, by purification of our heart. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us close our eyes. All the forms, shapes, colors, that we were experiencing are gone. They were dependent on the organ of seeing. Similarly, let us close the inputs from all other sensory organs too. We have now pure awareness. Not punctuated by any object. All the lines of separation have gone away. All multiplicity has vanished. So also vanished time and space. just pure consciousness. The essence of everything. The existence that can never be effaced. All variety has collapsed and dissolved in oneness. Just as all the ice cubes melt in warm weather and come to their essential oneness, so everything has merged in this absolute oneness. This is the source. This is the true existence. This is the true bliss. This is the goal of life. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Dear friends, what we see by the eyes is the variety, the forms, the shapes, the colors, and it depends on the program that our visual center is loaded with. Therefore, all do not have the same kind of vision. Different human beings also, they have variety. All do not see exactly in the same way. Many birds have different type of vision. Human beings have, say, 2 eyes. Some birds have only 1 eye, but has 2 windows, like a crow. It has only 1 eye, but then can move into from one side to another side. It is like we go to one window, we see something, we go to other window, we see something else. So the crow, as it were, has 2 windows on the 2 sides of the head. Some insects have just a frontal 1 eye. and each has very different program of creating the input into the visual perception. So, therefore, for example, uh, it is actually an imaging process that goes on. I don't want to get into the scientific details about it, but it is actually a program. Not that the thing is there outside like this, we don't know what it is, but through this instrument we get an image as if it is like this. And with different sense organs, we get different images. Some creatures don't have eyes at all, but they see in a sense. For example, the bats, they see, if that word can be applied, through their audio sense. They have that ultrasound, and by that reflection sounds, they can find their way, and very accurately. In fact, more accurately than our visual sense can at times, yeah. So, that is also an imaging. So, how the imaging is, that determines what the object is. And therefore, what we learn from this is only a changing vision, changing perception, and that is same with all other organs that we have, all sensory organs. We speak about eyes because a major portion of human brain is connected to our visual sense. That is why there is this saying that seeing is believing. For human, this is that seeing is believing. For a dog, it will be smelling is believing. You can do the experiment, if a photograph of a person is shown to dog, won't recognize. But if that person is not even seen, at a distance somewhere, the dog somewhere inside immediately that dog recognizes that this is that person, because for dog, seeing is not believing, but smelling is believing. So, here, although we are using the word seeing, it really applies to all our sensory organs. According to our sensory organs, how they are programmed, according to their limitations, we get a sense of this world. And we believe that without questioning that credibility of our sense organs. Are they providing us any real information? Is what we see, is it really like that? Without questioning, we accept that. Even when there is the evidence that it is actually not like that, we discard that evidence. But when we understand that no, our sense organs, they are cheating us, we need not believe their evidence. We should find a way to get at the truth. There is a very beautiful hymn of Shankaracharya where it shows how one should go to the source. We think that our sense organs, they bring knowledge to us. Not at all true. Our sense organs only distort the knowledge. He gives a beautiful analogy of, say, a lamp kept in a jar. And that jar has many holes. And the light in the jar, the light of the lamp in the jar gets uh, spread through those holes according to the size and the shape of that hole. The light gets seen. If we do not know that there is another light inside, by just restricting ourselves to the pot, then we get a wrong impression that these holes are emitting the lights. The holes are the source of light. But actually, the holes do not generate any light. The light is of the lamp, and that gets, scattered, comes out through these holes, and then that deludes us that, well, it is the light of this particular hole. So also we get the perception or the understanding or the difficult to exactly find a word that yes, this world is like this and like this and like this, based on what the sense organs bring the information. These sense organs are like these holes in the jar. The beautiful verse in that hymn is Dakshinamurti Stotra. And that particular stanza says that Nana Chidra Ghatodara Sthita Maha Deepa Prabha Bhaswaram Jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana-dvara bahispandate janamiti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat tasmai shri gurumurtaye namahidam shri dakshinamurtaye. That as the light of the lamp inside a perforated jar comes out, and so also the knowledge of the self through all these sensory organs, it as it were goes out. And then we see so many different things. The knowledge is not that is generated by this instrument of perception, sense organs, mind, brain, and so forth. And they are not the generators of the awareness. They distort it, that's all. Distort means the reality is one without second. The light itself, that lamp. But due to these holes, we see a variety and it is not just seeing. What I said earlier, seeing is believing. We believe that there is actually such a variety and we get entangled in it. The mind has tremendous power like that, the power of getting entangled, get caught, like an artist drew a picture of a beautiful woman. Means the not picture of a beautiful woman as such, but the picture was very beautiful. But then the artist, he started, getting entangled into it. Thought that is a nice woman. Fell in love with that woman. Got involved in mentally, with that non-existent woman. Started looking for her. So it is like that we fall in love with these shapes, names. We give names to the shapes, and that names generate a sense of reality. Give a name to something, and then it becomes real. It is, for example, this is what it is, this body, a heap of bones, flesh, blood and all. And But give it a name, Yogatmananda. And then things start becoming real. You start seeing a sense of constancy there, that is real. Give a name. That is how things become real, because we give a name to a form. You give a name, say in this part, it is a very common thing, New England Patriots. A name. It's that football club, and people become so mad, so charged up. It is our team. Now, what is their constant, tell me, in the team? The players keep on changing. Go from one club to another club. Then the owners change, the coaches change, everything changes. But why we say that, well, I have been the fan of New England Patriots for 20 years. What happened in 20 years? It changed. You who were fan, you also changed. But the name gave a sense of illusory continuity, which actually is not there. And this is what the form and the name do. It is all caused by our mind and sense organs. In Vedanta, the mind also is included in these sense organs. Manashashthani indriyani, as Bhagavad Gita says, that all these 5 organs and the 6th mind that kind of connects them, that also is considered as an organ. So, all that, this illusory appearance gets created, generated, and we get, our awareness gets caught in it, entangled in it, and bound by it. Some fortunate being feels that, oh, I am being cheated. Wait a minute. Let me see, is it real? Test it. Is it real? And the test of reality is permanence. If it is changing, then it is not real. It is an appearance. That is how we decide if something is merely an appearance. Like a magician makes some shows, brings out many birds from an empty box. Now it is a magic show. They were not real, although they appeared. But we know that they are not real because that they do not last. The magician brings out so many thousands of dollars by that empty box. It is, and yet we know that they are not real. Otherwise, why the magician will put the show and ask money? It is not real because it doesn't last. We see objects in the dream, but we do know that they are not real. When we wake up, they vanish. So, you know that since they vanish, they are not real. They change. Now apply the same yardstick to what we see, perceive, experience in the waking state. What do you see? Changes. Changing things. Like at one point, now our friend Abhishek is sitting here, his parents are here, wonderful people. It is so, some think, about 30 years ago, the Abhishek was being probably taken care of by the parents. Now the parents are getting taken care of by Abhishek here, because it is that is how the times change. the connections change, everything comes and goes. It is like a wave, uh, rises and falls. Before you show a look at that wave, it is already gone. Before showing that look, that lightning, it is gone. So similarly, in a jiffy, this comes and goes. And so we get this question, what is real? Was that real? A thinking mind then becomes more introspective. That let me examine this instrument itself. Because of this instrument, these problems were caused. This instrument made me see the things that actually were all changing, gave me wrong perception. And so we start looking for what is right. That is why the method of the physical scientist, that gets questioned here. It is in all the empirical fields, because what is meaning of empirical? It changes. So in changing fields, apply the changing methods. Fine. But when it comes to reality, the truth, we see that they are lacking. I had told many times here about the beautiful points raised by that one great physicist, his name is not Feynman. It is no, but he's just before Heisenberg. He was one of the most famous physicists. No, he was contemporary to Heisenberg. Yeah, it is. That book is here with us. Anyway, so his book, Physics and Philosophy. Not physics and philosophy again, but philosophy of physical science. So, yes, Sarah, you can. She started looking on Google. Yeah. So it is. So he compares the ways that how the physical science progresses, and I like that example a lot. That it is. He says when a biologist, a naturalist wants to study the aquatic creatures, goes to say a pond and throws a net, and then whatever catch is there, examines that catch. A method, experiment, observe, and then deduce. That is the method of physical science. Go, do experiment, find out, properly note down your observations, compare, generalize, analyze, generalize, and come to the conclusion. That is the accepted, testified method of physical science. So exactly like that, this scientist goes, throws a net in the pond, and then examines the catch carefully, and then initially makes two conclusions. That first conclusion, these aquatic creatures can survive only in water. Second conclusion, every aquatic creature has to be at least 2 inches long. Then he puts the net again and examines the catch again, and he needs to now change his first conclusion, that no, there are some aquatic creatures who can survive out of water as well, because this time he must have caught a frog. And so he says that yes, I have to change my first conclusion. but second conclusion was intact. And every time he put the nets, examined, some other conclusions came up, but this conclusion number 2 always remained intact. Every aquatic creature is at least 2 inches long, because the distance between the two threads of the net is 2 inches. So nothing smaller than 2 inches will get caught in it. So he says, thus this is the method of science. We throw the net of our 5 senses on this universe, and whatever gets caught in it, we examine that and draw conclusions based on that. Vedanta, it does something different for 2 reasons. Vedanta finds another fault with this method, that Vedantists say that first thing is, even those creatures that you find out 2 inches long, you will not be able to study them fully, because when they were born they were not 2 inches long, so you will not be able to study their process of birth. So that method has too many these lacuna. It is not a right method to study. Second thing is that we have this analytical method. Vedantists say that for that second conclusion you need not have to throw the net in the water at all. By looking at the net, you know what you are going to get. The examination of the net is the right thing to do. So this is our net, this apparatus. 5 sense organs and the mind. They are there, they have to be analyzed. They have to be seen. They have to be questioned. And that questioning is represented by this third eye, the 2 eyes that we are endowed with in general. They are representing all this sensory understanding, knowledge, consciousness that we have. But now, since that is not giving all the answers, what we need to do is to go beyond them and find the actual source of knowledge. This cannot be called knowledge because it keeps on changing. You believe something, yes, this research shows this. But after some days the research changes, and then I feel very amused at times that some time back the then latest research said that this food is very good for you, this is the right food that you must be eating, this is the exact thing that you should be eating. And then after some time the latest research, our Vishwanath reads all that, it completely overturns that. No, that was wrong. This is the right thing to follow. One of our friends who reads all these things, he said, let me tell you, the best food for you may be that which your grandmother tells you to eat. So that is another way, so that because it is all changing, and therefore Mundak Upanishad says that this is the lower kind of knowledge because it is subject to change. Shankaracharya comments on that even though this is lower knowledge, because how much you may know it, actually you know nothing for sure. Nothing for sure. Because it is all relative, and therefore that knowledge has this definite shortcoming or lacuna, that it is not worthy to be even termed as knowledge, and so we must go beyond. This is, it appears to be a very daring statement, but to get a taste of the Vedantic truth, one has to be a daring person. Vedanta is really not for sissies. This title I remember because somebody had brought some very hot sauce and kept on my table, their dining table for me. And there it was written that it is only for Swamis, not for, only for Swami, means this fellow, only for Swami, and that should have been acceptable, but that person wanted to make it more pinching, not for sissies. So it is. So Vedanta is certainly not for sissies. One has to have that daring to embrace the truth, even if it is tremendously unpleasant, even if it is going to take away all that we thought to be really mine, so dear, so real. All that has to be accepted as unreal if the analysis proves that. But we are not really scientific enough. The science of Vedanta is far more scientific than any physical science can ever claim, because it is not afraid of approaching the truth. Whatever may be the conclusions, whether they are likable or unlikable, whether they shatter my dreams or not, well, they are dreams after all. They are going to get shattered. It is no point in holding on to that which is unreal. Swami Vivekananda says in Jnana Yoga, a great treatise, he gives the example of Buddha who had left home and hearth in search for the ultimate truth, and one of his friends, actually the temptation, the Mara, came in the form of his very dear friend and started arguing with him. Look, have you found that way out of the suffering? Buddha said, no, I haven't, but I am trying. Then what is the point, you have a nice kingdom, you have a nice wife and child, and that is the reality. And what you want to find, whether you will find or not, who knows, whether such a thing exists or not, who knows. So at least hold to this, that one in hand is better than two in bush. So let it go. Go back to your kingdom, your wife, child, and so forth. What foolishness are you doing? And Buddha replies that I don't know if I will succeed in finding the way, but I know for sure that there is nothing here. It is all zero. It is all empty. I am convinced of that. So on that side there is hope at least. But here there is nothing absolutely. And Vivekananda comments there, the one who wants to follow this path of scientific investigation should be daring like that. Anybody, anything, howsoever dear it may be, if you see that it is not real, we should be ready to drop it. Do you think of the dream that you saw last night, and there you were staying in a very nice palace? And when you wake up, are you thinking that let me bring that palace from the dream? It is in the dream. It doesn't happen. It actually doesn't happen. There is nothing like that. So you say that it is all dream, it is not real. In this waking state also the experiences are like that. And so you learn to disown the experiences from this sense organ. That is the search for the third eye. That this is the again a great method of science, the principle of analysis and abstraction. Analyze and then see that it applies to all. And so even what we see with our these two eyes, if we analyze, we see that it is not real. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, that I observed that everything is getting born. From childhood, Sri Ramakrishna observed that things are getting born and grow and die. That happens to plants. That happens to all different creatures. That happens to human beings. So, all of these things are not real. They are changing, like it happens like the wave on waters, rises and falls. So similarly, everything here is like that. So we all see it, but we do not draw this conclusion like Sri Ramakrishna drew, that it is all therefore unreal. Do we not see that things rise, grow and die? We see that all the time. We see human beings getting born, grow, decay and finished, gone. It is here today, gone tomorrow. But we do not see this conclusion that this is everything is like this. It is not real. So what is real then? That in Kathopanishad this search is going on, and this the teacher there, the god of death, Yama, tells the disciple, look, you know that our sense organs, they are having this manufacturing defect, that they show only the distortions, distorted images outside. Therefore, those who want to know the truth, they should cover them. They should not try to, get the idea of truth through them. Paranchi khani vyatrunat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman. Very beautiful words. That so the inner truth is not perceivable by these senses, and so the one who is desirous of seeing or knowing the ultimate truth, therefore transcends these and does not go through these senses and turns inwards. It is Avritta Chakshu Amritatvam Icchan. Avritta means covering the eyes, means all the sense organs that cover them, means do not that lend credence to what they show you. It is just like all the spam emails that you keep on getting, all those ads. What do? You don't take them seriously. So many spam calls, 90% calls that I get are that kind, spam calls. So what do? You do not pay attention to that. you do not call them back, hey, what's your offer and all that. It is because you know that it is all uh, designed for a different purpose. This, all the worldly, these objects, they also are like that. You believe them. That very nice song that was sung here, that is like that. That this world that you are here is not your true home. It is all a deception that you are having. And go properly on this path, retracing your true home. Mon cholo nija niketane. Oh my mind, let us go back to our own abode. So now the journey becomes inwards, the outwards journey to see all these objects, grab them, and so forth. That part stops, and now the inward journey begins. That is the process of opening the third eye. This third eye has enormous importance, therefore, in Hindu ideas about God, divine, even in Buddhist and Taoist. You have these mentions or expressions of the third eye. Opening of the third eye means opening of the true knowledge, true wisdom. And then our perception changes. This is the true wisdom that brings us to the one essential substance from which all these waves, they rise and fall. It is, we go to the source of that light in the jar. Oh, that is the source. And these are just the images cast by the holes. So now we see this world, but we do not get deluded by that. It is not that we do not see the images. We see. While looking through the third eye doesn't mean we will not look through the two eyes. It is good as an initial practice that to stop the inputs into these different sense organs. But it is not that it has to be stopped for all the time. Just to give you an analogy again, that you say, for example, watching a movie on that, and you see all the people, objects, events going on there. And because being engrossed in the movie, you are not aware that it is the screen alone that is real. The pictures come and go. Where is the screen? Okay, switch off that movie for a minute. And then what is really left there? The screen alone. So that is where the technique, okay, shut off all the sense organs and mind. The consciousness still remains. It is not that the consciousness is absent. That is again another I would call folly by the present neuroscientists or medico-scientists, psychiatrists, that they somehow feel that the consciousness is generated by brain. No, brain only distorts it. Brain is not generator of consciousness. It is like the light is not generated by those holes. So it is the consciousness is ever present. It is not produced by anything. And we will be able to see as we remove all these instruments from our awareness. Now consciousness remains without being interfered by forms, without having different names and separations. It is one without second. It is, the forms are absent there, but consciousness is not absent. It is not absence of consciousness. One may better call it that it is consciousness of the absence. It is the consciousness is ever present. That is to be held, that we will see by closing these. And we then, even afterwards, when the movie begins, we are conscious that it is actually the screen only. So we do not respond to what is seen in the movie. You may like a person in the movie, and then you may want to hug the person there in the movie. Do you move forward from your seat? You say, no, it is just the appearance there. You do not move forward because it is, the screen alone is real there and nothing else is true. So similarly, when you know that it is actually God alone, that which is pervaded uniformly in everything, that alone is real, then you do not get deluded. This is the opening of the third eye. And thus this is the eye of knowledge. It is said Shiva has that eye. Actually all deities that they different, like Vishnu, Kali, Durga, all of them, they have three eyes, Saraswati. So they are described that with Trinayana. For example, the Devi is described Trinayana, means with three eyes. The two eyes are there to see the variations. But the third eye is the eye of knowledge. So that is with them. And when the third eye opens, what happens? It is shown in movies, that on Shiva's movie, for example, that Shiva got disturbed and so opened his third eye, and this whole universe was burned to ashes. It is a kind of story like this presentation. What happens is, all the illusion just vanishes when the truth dawns. When you open the eyes after that night's sleep, and you are woken up, have a cup of coffee, now you know that what you saw in the dream is not real, it is all gone. So similarly, this world of misperception is gone when the third eye is opened. So this is the third eye, and it is metaphorically or allegorically, it represents thus the opening of our inner true awareness. So let us hope we can get that vision. There is a way, by following the examples of the sages, we can learn how this vision is developed gradually, and then we can get it. So let us hope we will be able to get this third eye and then see the truth. Thank you very much, friends. Let us meditate on this for a few seconds, and then if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any questions? No, there is no question here. Any question upstairs? No question. So good. You are getting now an easy, quick exit because there is no arati also today. Today we had a very nice celebration here of the inauguration of this new shrine area, shrine and meditation hall. The work, as you can see, is still ongoing, not completed, but we took advantage of these two things. Today is a very auspicious day called Snana Yatra Day. It is a very important day in Indian Hindu calendar, especially associated with the Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. And then, as it happened, our Swami Kripamayananda from Toronto, who is, in addition to being, very good speaker and wonderful, friendly Swami, he is expert in this art of worship. So we decided therefore to have a ritual worship today with 16 articles and fire offerings, and then arati was performed at that time. So no additional arati right now. So you now have to go straight and downstairs to have the supper, not soup supper, but this is prasad supper. So let me tell you about the upcoming programs. June 11th, that is the next Sunday, we have a guest speaker here who had given a beautiful talk earlier. He is from New Jersey. His name is Sudhir Railkar, an engineer and an artist together. So he is giving the exposition on a journey of 1,000 steps. Means spiritual goal appears to be too far. Oh, difficult to get in this life, impossible, so forget about it. No, he says divide it into steps. Make it 1,000 steps journey. One little step every day, every hour, and then you will reach the goal. That is how this talk he has. He sent me some of the slides, and it is he is developing it very nicely. So a journey of 1,000 steps. So he is very delightful speaker. So please feel invited for that class on January 11th, next Sunday. The other programs, June 11th, sorry. Next Sunday will be June 11th. So thank you for correcting. And it is next, the next Sunday, that is Sunday after the June 18th, after the Sunday lecture we have our annual general meeting. So please try to come for that as well. The weekly discourses on Tuesdays and Fridays will continue as usual. Tuesdays the topic is Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and Fridays what? Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you. Yeah, some people were nodding the head. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita. No, it is Srimad Bhagavatam. Stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. Meditations morning and evening, and they are all going to be as usual, but in this new space. So you are welcome to come and meditate. Although the new door is still not accessible, you have to still come from this door, but cannot go inside with your footwear. So let me conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoist, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.